Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are here, day 31 in the WBRG shop, back on the Street Fighter 1000. Today, we're going to get this bike running. We're going to work on fitting the ram air ducts into the airbox to finish off those last little few pieces. We're going to install the front brake reservoir. We got a nice, pretty CNC machined reservoir for the front, so it doesn't look like that big wad of gum that was sticking on there before. We are going to make plans to bring our bike over to a dyno shop. If you guys are ready, we're gonna fire it. Get your ears prepared. Let's get to the 1000. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the shop, day 31 with our Street Fighter 1000 build. Just to give you a little heads up of where we're at so far today, I did this off camera. I drained the very stale, very stinky fuel out of our fuel tank. Just gonna give you a rundown real quick of how I did that without making a huge mess. Instead of just taking the gas cap off and flipping the thing upside down into a container and spilling fuel everywhere, I actually hooked a spare line up to the outlet for the fuel pump and just powered the fuel pump with an outside battery. So I just used a small battery with some jumper leads to the fuel pump powering wires and pumped all the fuel out. It's the cleanest way to do it. So our tank, totally empty now, so we can put some fresh fuel in it after we mount it onto our motorcycle. So we are at the point now where it's time to install the gas tank, hook up the fuel lines, power, sending unit for the fuel level sensor, and push the button and see if this thing starts. If you guys are ready for it, we're gonna get started. Fuel tank is on, mounted by the rear pivots only. Fuel line is on, fuel pump line is connected, fuel sending unit is connected, and there's about 1.5 gallons of fuel in this thing right now. So we're gonna do it. Are you ready? We're gonna do it.
It's gonna get loud.
Let's see what happens here. All right. Priming the fuel system. Oh, hold on a second. Not getting any power to the power commander. So if I'm not getting power to the power commander, it's not going to fire the fuel injectors. I don't know why I'm not getting power to it. This thing was lit up last time.
You had a light before.
Ground wire's on. Everything else should be connected. Okay. Okay, so we were not getting a power light lit on our power commander. So instead of wrestling with it, I just unplugged it, and we're gonna see if this thing will fire on the regular.
This is just
straight up stock mapping.
Cross your butts.
Yeah. I'm upset. Now do I be a dick and spray some contact cleaner into the airbox? Highly flammable. Okay. Directly into the airbox, so it takes a huff of it.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know, maybe the system just needs to be primed by it running? I don't know what's going on here, but... Doesn't sound like it's getting spark.
No.
All right. Trying to figure out why we were not getting any power to the power commander, which means that we're not getting power to the injection system, because that's what actually powers the power commander. So these are a couple of relays that are in the fuse box. One is for the ignition cut. The ignition system won't work if the relay's bad. And then the other one I pulled is for one of the fan motors. They're the same relay. So these relays, you shouldn't hear them rattle. And this one is definitely rattling. All right, so just to make sure if this relay is bad or not, we know that fuel pump is cycling. So let's switch out fuel pump relay with the ignition cut relay and see if we still get a fuel pump cycling.
Can you check those with a ohm meter?
You have to power them first.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yep. Nope, still hear the fuel pump cycling, so the relay works. It's just loose.
Brian, you just threw a little yellow thing. What did you throw?
So that was the fuse for the fuel injection system that was blown.
Why would it be fried?
All right, we're gonna try this again. We're good. Come on, baby. The blue fuse. There are many, many fuses in this machine, and there are a few of them that have to, man, does that stink. There are quite a few of them that have to do with the runnability of the machine. First is a relay for the fuel pump, a relay for the engine cut, which means that if it does anything weird, it turns itself off. Then there is a start fuse. There's a bank angle fuse, which is our tip over sensor. All of that stuff, if those fuses were blown, would stop this thing from working. All of those fuses were good. Then I see all these spares in here. The fuses in this box are 10 and 20 amp, but yet there is a 30 amp spare in here. So I'm like, why would they put a 30 amp spare in there? There must be more fuses. So here is the starter relay, and on the top of the starter relay, it's actually stamped in here, main fuse, FI fuse. So FI standing for fuel injection. So I went in and opened that up and pulled the FI fuse, and lo and behold, it was popped.
Didn't have no gas.
Ain't no gas in it. Wait,
See what you guys did?
does that mean that it didn't start the entire time because
It
technically
didn't have no gas.
didn't have no gas in it? Boat said it the whole
More
time.
synchronicity. What did I tell you about?
I was in the dirty all along.
Oh my God.
Okay, so,
So-
how do you feel now that it cranked up? Are you,
Now I'm going to plug the
High
power
as a
commander
kite.
back in again.
okay?
I'm gonna push the button again
Okay.
because it was idling quite rough.
Because at this
Yeah.
point, you just
But I mean, the thing hasn't run in, it's a brand new motor, hasn't run in years. So not only that, I'm sure all the throttle bodies are out of synchronization from having to rip them off and smash them back on. But now I'm gonna prop the tank up and replug the power commander back in, and we're gonna fire it one more time. All right, power to power commander. Who's a happy man?
Now.
Who's a happy man? Ah. Not happy.
not a happy guy.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. All right, Brian's a happy guy because our motorcycle runs. The power commander has power, and once the power commander was hooked up and we fired this thing, had a nice idle to it, and it accepted throttle well. So pretty happy about where we're at right now. Should we give them a little taste of the seat? So I think we mentioned to you guys on maybe the last episode that we were taking our seat to be wrapped. And we got our seat back, and it looks fantastic. Now that our bike runs and we're gonna start taking stuff apart again, we're gonna show you some stuff from the finishing of the bike. So,
Wow, you did a good job of making it so I couldn't see anything in this camera. That's funny.
all right, so it is wrapped in plastic at first, so I'm just gonna give you a little, here we go. This is our custom shaped, narrowed, shortened rider seat that has been wrapped with an extra half a layer of foam and an Alcantara seat cover with some custom white stitching in it. Local place, little guy, him and his wife, small place. They do fantastic work.
Turned it around in a week.
Turnaround was literally a week. We dropped it off on Wednesday, picked it up on Wednesday, completed for an extremely reasonable price. Not talking about price on camera here, but I'm gonna unwrap this thing so you can get the full feel of it.
Yeah.
Woo! Look at that bad boy right there. So we went to the upholsterer and we kind of gave him a little bit of an idea of what it was that we were looking for, how it was going to be wrapped, and he didn't agree because he's a professional and I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to upholstery. So this seam here along the edge was totally his idea to keep everything sturdy and flat against the seat pan. And then we wanted to bring white stitching into the seat because we're not trying to match this color red, and there's very little white on our bike, so we just wanted to tie it in with the seat. There's still a little bit of space right here, so the tank cover, this will touch right up against the tank cover. Be a nice firm fit right in the hole. Sweet, now that we got it running, we got our seat fitted. The last thing that we need to do is we need to fit some sort of ductwork for the end of our airbox and then screen the end so we don't get any like chipmunks or small birds stuck in our engine. Now we're gonna pull the seat, we're gonna put it in a nice clean bag and stow it away until we're ready to put it on the last time. We need to remove the fuel tank. Unfortunately, we need to remove the airbox one more time, hopefully, and we'll get all the measurements we need off of it. We're gonna start looking for a dyno after that, so
Yay.
here we go. While Judd is doing his one-man band measuring and figuring out how these ducts are gonna go, instead of just me standing here with my thumb in my butt, I'm gonna start putting some of these little parts on. We're gonna start with our reservoir. You guys haven't seen it yet, but this is where we're headed. All right, everyone, so we are going to wrap up for the day, and where we have finished off is we have a running motorcycle.
Yay!
Yay! Running motorcycle. I went and put the front brake reservoir and new mounting bracket on, so everything looks all nicey up front. Our national treasure, Judd here, is taking all the measurements and made a preliminary mold and model of what our ram air ducts are going to look like. He always likes to go home and do all this stuff in secret, so we don't know what's going on until he brings us back something that is usually far and above what we were talking about originally, so excited for that one. We are going to wrap for the day. Our next episode will be finishing all the little tiny piddly stuff. Finish the brake lines, the reservoirs, bleed the brake system, fill the cooling system with coolant. We know our machine runs, so from there we're going to look for and possibly head out to dyno shop to get a nice custom map written for our Street Fighter 1000.
Long story short, the bike cranks up. Woo!
Those words right there for sure. So thank you all again for joining us for another day, another episode of Wreck Bike Rebuild Garage. If you guys like motorcycle content and the type of stuff that we build, please visit over on Patreon. We still have 2 more machines to finish up and give away. So for as little as $5 a day, $5 a week,
Shit.
$5 a month, what does it go?
Month.
For as little as $5 a month, you could possibly win one of our next 2 builds. In case you guys didn't know, I think the next one going to be done is that guy over there. So
Might not look like it, but it's a CBR300.
it's definitely going to be an interesting build, and we're glad you guys are here coming along with us for the journey. You guys have a good evening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Like, subscribe, bell, all that shit. Bye.